What if you could stop feeling stuck in English in less than 21 days? Not by studying harder, but by rewiring one simple habit. Most people spend years on grammar and vocabulary, yet they still panic when it's time to speak. That stops today. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Fluency is not a knowledge problem. It's a speed problem. Your brain knows the words, but it retrieves them too slowly because it's taking a detour through your native language every single time. That detour is called translation. And it is the #1 reason you feel slow. Let me prove it to you. Think of the word for the thing you sit on. Chair. You didn't translate that, did you? You just knew it. That's because very common words live directly in English in your mind. Now think of a word like nevertheless. Did you feel a slight pause? Maybe a quick trip to your native language? That pause is the enemy. Every millisecond of translation adds up to hesitation, forgetfulness, and fear. So how do you eliminate that detour permanently? You force your brain to think in English from the moment you wake up until you fall asleep. Not with big, perfect sentences, with tiny, almost stupidly simple thoughts. When your alarm goes off, instead of thinking in your native language, think, I am awake. Body is heavy. Need water. When you brush your teeth, cold water. Toothpaste tastes strong. Almost done. At first, this feels ridiculous. Your mind will fight you. It will want to slide back to what's comfortable. But here's the key. Every time you catch yourself translating, stop. Rewind the thought. Say it again in English, even if it's broken. Wrong English out loud beats perfect English in your head every single time. Do this for 3 days, and you'll notice something strange. Words will start appearing without effort. Do it for 3 weeks, and your inner voice might actually switch to English for entire minutes at a time. That is the tipping point. Once your brain stops translating, speaking becomes simply opening your mouth and letting the thoughts out. No middleman. No delay. Now, let's talk about the second trap, passive learning. Many people listen to English podcasts for hours while cooking or driving, and then wonder why they don't improve. That's because their ears are open, but their brain is on vacation. That is not learning. That is background noise. You need active listening. Here's the exact method. Take a short clip, no longer than 60 seconds. Listen once for the main idea. Listen a second time and write down 3 words or phrases you didn't know. Listen a third time and pause after each sentence to repeat it out loud, copying the speaker's tone and speed. Do this with the same clip every day for a week. By day 7, that audio will sound painfully slow and clear. That is your brain upgrading. Repetition is not boring. Repetition is the forge where fluency is hammered. One clip listened to 7 times deeply will teach you more than 7 different clips listened to once each. Your brain needs patterns, not novelty. Give it the same patterns repeatedly, and it will automate them. The third trap is learning words like a dictionary instead of learning sentences like a human. A word alone is a brick. A sentence is a room. And fluency is walking through rooms without bumping into walls. If you only collect bricks, you will never build a house. So stop memorizing hungry. Stop memorizing late. Memorize sorry I'm late, traffic was bad. When you learn a full sentence, your brain stores it as one chunk. Later, when you need to speak, you don't assemble grammar from scratch. You just grab the chunk and maybe change one word. I am hungry becomes I am tired, I am excited, I am lost. One pattern, endless sentences. Native speakers do not think about grammar rules when they talk. They think in phrases they have said 1,000 times before. That is your goal. Build a library of 200 to 300 ready-to-use sentence chunks. Write them down. Say them aloud while walking. Record yourself saying them and listen back. Make them physical. Make them automatic. Now, the fourth trap is the most painful one. Waiting for confidence before speaking. You tell yourself, I'll practice more, then I'll talk to someone. But confidence does not come before speaking. Confidence comes from speaking badly and surviving. It comes from forgetting a word and still finishing the sentence. It comes from being embarrassed and realizing the world did not end. You do not need a partner to start. You need a mirror and 10 minutes. Every day at the same time, stand in front of your reflection and talk. Describe your day. Complain about the weather. Explain how to make your favorite food. Argue with yourself about a movie. The content does not matter. The act of forming sounds with your mouth, moving your tongue, and hearing your own voice. That is what builds fluency. Record yourself. I know, it feels awful at first. But listen back, not to criticize, to notice. Where did you pause too long? Which word did you repeat 3 times? Where did you sound surprisingly natural? That self-awareness is a faster teacher than any textbook. And after about 10 days of daily recordings, you will hear a difference. Your speed will increase. Your pauses will shorten. Your fear will shrink. The 5th and final trap is the killer of all progress: inconsistency. Most learners start with an explosion of motivation. They study 2 hours on Monday, 3 hours on Tuesday, then life happens on Wednesday, and by Friday they have quit. That is not a character flaw. That is a strategy flaw. You relied on motivation instead of building a habit. Here is the law of fast learning. 15 minutes every single day will destroy 3 hours once a week. Why? Because daily practice keeps the language alive in your brain. It keeps the neural pathways open and growing. Skip 1 day and nothing bad happens. Skip 3 days and you start to rust. Skip a week and you are essentially starting over. So make your routine painfully small. 5 minutes of thinking in English in the morning. 5 minutes of active listening during lunch. 5 minutes of mirror speaking before bed. That is 15 minutes. Anyone can do 15 minutes, but you must do it every day. No 0 days. Even if you are tired, even if you feel stupid, even if you only repeat 5 sentences. Do not break the chain. After about 3 weeks, something magical happens. It stops feeling like effort. It becomes a habit, as automatic as brushing your teeth. You don't motivate yourself to brush your teeth. You just do it. That is the level you are aiming for. English not as a subject you study, but as a background process running all the time. Let me leave you with this. Think in English starting with tiny thoughts. Listen actively to short clips on repeat. Learn full sentence chunks, not isolated words. Speak every day, even badly, even to a mirror. And show up consistently, no matter what. Do these 5 things for 3 weeks, and you will not believe the difference. Words that once hid from you will appear. Sentences that once felt heavy will flow. And that voice in your head that used to translate everything will finally switch to English. The fastest learners are not the smartest. They are simply the ones who do not stop. Start today, not tomorrow, not Monday. Right now, in your head, describe what you see. No translation, just English. That is step 1. And you just took it. If this system makes sense to you, hit like so more people who are stuck can find it. And comment 1 word, today. That is your promise to yourself. You are watching Winds of Thought, where we don't just teach English. We rebuild how you learn anything.